Good morning, everybody. I'm Ricky Stamps, and I'd like to welcome you to our town meeting. It actually is a beautiful day, so if you have a chance, get outside. Um, I like to shake things up at Butterfield, thus the town meeting on a Thursday. But really, it is to accommodate the fabulous setup my team will do today and tomorrow in preparation for the luau that's scheduled tomorrow night. Now, I did hear that there are some really strange birds lurking around the village, and they're trying to figure out where the luau is going to be. So, if you see them, lasso them in and bring them to my office, okay? All right. Well, I'm so glad you're here. We're going to start the meeting with Jennifer, then Quentin, then me, and then Jay, and then Quentin again.
Good morning. First, we are really lucky to have Alex with us this semester. He's going to be interning for us, and he's going to be doing personal training. So I will have a sign-up sheet this afternoon, not this morning, if you're interested. It's going to be first come, first serve, so you want to get signed up early because we will not have a whole bunch of openings, but we will work hard to get everybody in that's interested. So this is Alex, and we're just so lucky to have him this semester. Also, September is going to be the best month because we start hiking again. Yes. And with hiking, I have some great things in store. We are teaming up with the Northwest Arkansas Land Trust, Devil's Den. We're going to be doing hikes with guides that will be giving us lots of great information. We're going to start out at Crystal Bridges, then we're going to go to Cane Hill. We're going to have a historical tour of Cane Hill and their Smithsonian exhibit. Then we're also going to do some of the hikes that are really close and wonderful that we haven't had the chance to do, such as Gregory Park, Markham Hill. So please pay attention to the hikes because it's going to be a wonderful hiking season. Also, we got pickleball launched and then it got hot. So in September, pickleball will be happening again. It's going to be Wednesdays at 9:30, and we're looking for more times, so pay attention to that. And I've been working with Keisha, my assistant, and we keep asking the question, what other classes should we be offering? So if you have one that you would love to be doing, make sure and tell me or leave an anonymous note in my office. But forewarning, I cannot dance. I cannot dance. Therefore, I cannot teach a dance class. Yes, we have the experts, Ron and Alice. So just wanted to tell you that because every once in a while I hear, let's do Zumba. Let's do it. I'm like, oh, if I had the ability, we would already be doing that class. But I am interested in hearing what you would like to see on campus. I'm always trying to make sure we're offering the best programming. But for September, we will be doing hiking, we will be doing pickleball, and just a little bit of a tease, I'm trying to launch archery because we have some great archery hikes that we could do where they have some wonderful programs. So you might just see that in your calendar coming up soon, and zip lining. So get excited for the fall. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, it'll be at the transportation desk sign-up sheet. Can I go ahead and put you on the list? Okay. Don't worry about signing up. Okay, I've got 3. Okay. I'm just making sure I remember. Okay, I've got it. Have a wonderful day.
Cute little bird lurking in the back. So I wanted to interrupt our normal progression, our town hall meeting today, and introduce a couple new staff members we've got. First one I'd like to introduce is Carmen Barasco, who is our new HR director. She probably won't interact a lot with our residents on a daily basis, but you may occasionally see her in the hallway. So if you would, I'll ask Carmen to tell a little bit about herself.
Okay. Okay, I'm not quite as tall as Clinton. I was just going to stand on my toes the whole time, but this is better. So, my name is Carmen Barasco. I am from the Springdale area and have lived there most of my life. Um, I'm really excited to be here. My passion has always been around helping others, and I'm just really excited to be here. But if you have anything that you would like for me to do, or you have questions about staffing or whatever, feel free to let me know and stop by my office. I'd be glad to interact with you guys and try to improve the quality of your services as well from my standpoint. Thank you.
The quality of the service that we provide is directly related to the quality of the staff we hire, and that's where Carmen comes in, and we're hoping that she's able to help us out a lot in that regard. And it finally dawned on me just what Ricky's really doing with the bird. I thought it was just a really cute bird, but I figured Ricky's given me the bird is what I'm now realizing. So I was pretty slow on that. But anyway, the other staff I'd like to introduce is our new maintenance supervisor, Tyler. And Tyler replaces Chris Wright that we had in maintenance before. So Tyler, if you would come up. I'm sorry. And from a resident standpoint, you'll probably interact with Tyler quite a little bit. So Tyler, if you would tell him a little bit about yourself.
Good morning. I'm from Siloam Springs. I've been in the healthcare industry and maintenance and facilities for the last 12 years. I am very passionate about what I do. I love helping others, taking care of others. My wife's a nurse, and so we are really focused on helping anybody we can, however and whenever we can. So I look forward to being here as long as I can, and hope that I can help each and every one of you guys some way, one way or another. Thank you guys.
All right. Well, Carmen, did you just hear what I heard? His wife's a nurse. Well, did you hear that? I heard that. So, we'll turn it back over to Ricky. So.
Absolutely. We welcome you to Butterfield. We're glad you're here. Okay, I want to have a quick announcement. First, I would like to recognize someone that I adore, and I want to thank Michael Burks for staging and putting together the wonderful gospel music program last Saturday night. Thank you so much, Michael. For those of you who were unable to attend, he put together a program with his sister, and they performed gospel circuit for many years ago, and it was very special that they were able to get back together, and they've not missed a beat on their sound. It's fabulous. For those of you who didn't see the concert, we'll reschedule it on the calendar in the first week of October. We'll show it on the big screen here and then also on Channel 1961. So you get to see it again or for the first time, and trust me, it will be very moving. There have been some revisions on the transportation schedule regarding theatrical performances for this fall season. So you can pick up a revised copy. The changes are have been highlighted, but it's due to lack of participation last year. There are some things at the Walton Arts Center we're not going to be attending. LOL Series, Starlight Jazz Club, Land O'Lakes Series, West Street Live, the Coca-Cola Night Out Series. If you have tickets to those performances, we will see what we can do for 5 or more. So if you do have tickets and you can gather 5, please see Michael, and we will try to get something arranged. And I'm telling you this early. October, we are returning to Dogwood Canyon in Missouri. It's a fabulous tram ride that includes a lunch, tours, a gift card, just a wonderful day. And Arkansas and Missouri are so beautiful in the fall. If you would like to go, please be watching for the sign-up sheet for that. Tickets are $89, but that absolutely covers a wonderful day for you. I thought we were going to have a representative from the Walton Arts Center to talk about this fall season, but I guess something's come up and she's not going to be here. Just to highlight some September items that you will see on your calendar that should be delivered to you either later this afternoon or sometime tomorrow. there was a big request to have someone come and sharpen knives and scissors. Well, I found someone, and what we will do is have a scheduled time for you to drop off your pieces that are wrapped with a protective covering on it and your identification on it. Drop it off to me, and then the gentleman will come pick it up, take it to a shop, sharpen everything, bring it back, and he will have a ticket for you to pay. His prices are very reasonable, so if you need your knives or your scissors sharpened, no machetes or hedge clippers or anything like that, just something that's small to hold in your hand. We have Daryl Rojas performing on the piano Saturday the 10th. He is from Costa Rica, and he currently is in Memphis, and he will be here for a wonderful concert, so I hope you can attend that as well. Of course, football season is upon us, so it's it's a wonderful thing that we're able to provide bus transportation to those of you who have season football tickets. Be watching the sign-up sheet for that. And let's see, we'll be kicking off this fall's partnership with Fulbright College, and they'll be coming to share information about the presentations they'll have this fall. Michael Rhea, the director, will be here to talk. And if you've never been to Art Ventures with me to meet local artists and see their works, this one would be one you would like to attend. Art Ventures is in a totally remodeled 1887 home in Fayetteville. They've turned it into a beautiful gallery, and in September we will meet the artist Leslie Perryman, and her work is colorful, it's beautiful. I know you're really going to adore meeting her, and her mother was a nurse in healthcare for like 20 plus years at Butterfield, and she's hoping that she can come by as well. Okay, I do have a guest that I would like to introduce. Many of you know Josh Rainey with OLLI, Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, and we're also partnering again with OLLI and hosting classes here, but Josh wants to come and talk to you about this upcoming season. Let's give Josh a big welcome. He does a wonderful job.
Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate that. So yeah, as Ricky said, I'm Josh Rainey. I'm with the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at the University of Arkansas. You may know us as OLLI, O-L-L-I. If you're not familiar with us, we offer opportunities to learn and have a lot of fun for people just like you guys all over Northwest Arkansas. But what I want to talk about today is our partnership with Butterfield Trail Village, which we've had for a number of years now. That allows us to bring a portion of our classes directly to you right here at Butterfield Trail Village. And what I'm really excited to announce is as of today, we're starting a new perk for Butterfield Trail residents that join OLLI as an annual member this year, can take those classes that we hold here at Butterfield Trail Village at no cost. And that membership also gives you access to all the other benefits, discounts, and other events that we offer outside of Butterfield Trail Village. So I've got a catalog. We've got our fall season starting. Registration is open, and I'm going to have some of those up at the front of the stage. We'll have those in the information section in your building as well. If you know Tricia Beelan, she's one of our biggest advocates. She's offered to be a point of contact for anyone who's interested in learning a little more about OLLI and what we have to offer. Or I'm sure Ricky would be happy to kind of point you in our direction. But it's a great time right now to join. We've got 3 classes that I'm going to just talk about real quick. What makes us laugh? And so we've got a retired professor who's going to talk about just that. What makes us laugh, from the science of it all the way to trends in stand-up comedy. So it should be a pretty fun class. That's 2 sessions. Wit and Wisdom of Aging. And so we've got a staff member at the University of Arkansas who's going to talk about how we age, what's good about it, what's not, and how we can do the best in our aging lives. And then last but not least, the joy of feeding wild birds. And so if you're like me, I love to get out in nature and have a good time, see wildlife, see nature. And so this class is going to teach you how to attract birds, not critters, to your lawn and to your feeders. So just an example of some of the things we're offering here at Butterfield Trail Village. If you're interested in joining, you can do that online. Give us a call. Check out the catalog. And I encourage you to check us out. And that's all I got. Thank you, guys.
Good morning, Butterfield. I'm Jay Green, Director of Healthcare Services. Let's see if we can hear everything. I've got just a couple of announcements this morning, and they're hot topics. One, flu clinic. Flu shots will be here soon. I want you to know that the dates are September 20th from 8 to noon and 1 to 4, and then September 28th from 1 to 4, and then also a makeup day on October 19th from 8 to noon only if needed. I want to let you know that the flu clinic will be first come, first served for the residents. Also, the consent forms will be available after Labor Day. We'll make sure and get consent forms out to everybody so you can pre-fill them out. So when you come down to the Performance Hall, it'll help things go smoothly because you know how big events do go. And so we want to make it go as quickly as possible. But I want you to know that they're coming soon. Now, right behind that, I have information about booster shots for COVID. The information I have is that they will be coming in September as well. Now, I don't know yet which one. Quentin and I were talking about that a moment ago, whether Moderna or Pfizer. The releases that we've seen so far is that both companies have submitted their information to the FDA, and the FDA will give their determination shortly after Labor Day as well. So I have no doubt that COVID shots will be in our neck of the woods in mid to late September, so please keep your eyes and ears open for that as well. And then the last one I've got is a fun one. Our next employee appreciation event is going to be on October 31st. It is a carnival here in the Performance Hall from 5 to 7 o'clock that evening. So if you're familiar with ways we've done it in past years, there'll be some flyers come out. If you'd like to donate any candy to the cause or anything such as that, this is for employees' children to come and have fun, and for residents to get to see them. And it'll be a very, very good time. I've already rented the bounce house, and so if you're new, there will be a bounce house here in the Performance Hall right about here. And it's interesting, to say the least, but we're going to have fun. What I want you to know, though, another special event going on that day that you can get involved with, that I would really like if you got involved with, is we're going to have a blood drive that morning. On Halloween Day, what better day than to donate some blood? So I have a feeling that Dracula will be around here somewhere, and that will be from 8 to noon here in the Performance Hall. It'll be like we did last time, and I will get information out to you soon too, because the Red Cross is giving me flyers and information to pass out. So nonetheless, some good fun things coming up. Like Ricky stated this while ago, it is a beautiful day, so get out and get you some fresh air if you can. Otherwise, you'll have a great day. Pat asked when are the flu shots be available in healthcare. Pat, they will be at the same time period. It's either going to be on September 20th or the 28th, but we will do them in healthcare for all residents on that day. We'll go room to room, and as soon as we get our hands on the consent forms, we'll get those out as well to make sure we get those filled out. And regarding the high-dose flu shots, I will get some confirmation information on that because I did not ask that before I came down. Chris had asked, and that's a topic that a lot of people want to know as far as what type of flu shot is it going to be. I'll get some more information to you as far as that goes, but definitely I wanted you to know that it's coming, and regardless of what type of shot it is, I encourage everybody to take it. I do. It is going to be the high dose. Okay, Quinn had already confirmed it. They are supposed to have the high dose available with them. So, any other questions before I run off? All right, y'all have a great day.
Well, good morning, everyone. I've got two topics of discussion I want to go over this morning. I can't put those up yet. I'm going to need them here in a minute. I've got two topics of discussion I want to go over, and they're each one individually is long and also complicated. So discussing these in a public forum like this is dubious at best. But I'm going to try to go through it like a bull in the china closet, which is probably what I'll do. I'm going to try to do my best, and hopefully it'll make some sense when I'm done. But the first one, oh, and I forgot to mention, the Ollie has left some brochures here on the front of the stage. So if you'd like Ollie brochures and information, please come up after the meeting and pick up your brochure. But anyway, back to my topics of discussion. The first one is our dining options. We had our board meeting last night. We talked a lot about the buffet line and plated meals, and I want to just discuss that a little bit. The first thing I want to say about this is we seem to have booths, seating booths in the dining room, and buffet line has kind of come married together. Forget about the booths. Unless there's just a big resident request for booths, which I don't think there will be, but unless residents really request booths, we're not going to put booths in the dining room. So if you're concerned or worried or heard we're putting booths in the dining room, forget it. Unless, like I said, unless the resident council comes and says, "Hey, we want booths in the dining room," which I don't think is the case. But I think some people have gotten confused and have gotten those two married at the hip, and they have nothing to do with each other. So if whatever we do in the dining, it won't probably include booths. So the next thing is do we want a dining? And this is a very simple but also a very deceptive question. Do we want a buffet line or plated meals? Now, we had talked for years we wanted to go to plated meals. I really, in my mind, plated meals is the direction we wanted to go in for the future of Butterfield. One of the issues, the biggest issue we've had with this is staffing and getting and keeping trained servers. We're probably going to have to look at our wages that we pay, not only in dining, but all across the different departments at Butterfield. But the big sticking point on plated meals is attracting and retaining the experienced or trained servers that we need to make plated meals successful. And I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think Memo has come to the conclusion that unless we have substantial increases in our salary structures, that we're not going to be able to attract and recruit and retain the talent that we need to be able to make plated meals successful. To this end is why Memo has started looking at a buffet line. Now, the next thing when we attempt to answer this question, we got to understand what is a buffet line. Saying a buffet line is like saying a Chevy. There's a lot of them out there. Do you mean a subcompact Chevy? Do you mean a SUV Chevy? Do you mean an electric Chevy? Do you mean a hybrid? So the buffet line is kind of the same analogy. There's a very simple buffet lines. The one we had before was more of a movable buffet. They're cheaper. There's some advantages in the sense you can move them, but you also experiences the things we've experienced before with the old buffet. Is that as the food dries out, the food's cold. If you keep it hot enough to where it's not cold, it dries out, and just multiple problems. A built-in, designed from scratch, really nice buffet solves a lot of the issues we had with the old buffet line. It's also very expensive, and I'm gonna tell you the number. The preliminary numbers we've got now. These aren't final numbers, but they're preliminary cost estimates. To put in the buffet line that Memo's been drawn out, we're looking at $500,000. It's $500,000. And I'm like, wow, are we really going to spend $500,000 on a buffet line? Now, the flip side of this is, that'd be a pretty swanky little buffet line. We'd have action stations. You get taco bars. You could do fajitas. We could do omelets. There's a lot of stuff that can be done with it. But boy, it comes with a really hefty price tag. It's also built in. It's a commitment. When we commit to this, if we do that, it's going to be a long commitment. It's going to be here for I'm just going to be blunt, long after all of us are gone. So it's a big commitment. So what I want, and I'm just uncomfortable with proceeding forward with this at this time, what I'd really like is input from our residents, from you guys. What do you want? What do you think? And here's where I get into my dilemma, because when you ask 350 people for their opinion, I'm going to get 350 different opinions. And then invariably, somebody's going to say, well, I told you to do this, and you did that, so you didn't listen to me. Well, I want everybody's opinion, but then at the end of the day, we've got to combine these opinions into some action plan that then we can go implement. And that may or may not be, exactly what you individually had recommended. I'd also like, and I'm having Kelly, this is going to be news to Kelly. I haven't approached her yet about this. I also think I'd like to hear from our Carriage Club. What does the future generations that's coming to Butterfield want to see? And I told Memo, let's put this on pause. Let's hit the reset button is what I call it. Let's go back to the beginning and what do we want? What do we know? How do we know it? What makes us think we do know it? And then what does everybody want? So we're going to spend a little bit of time researching this and doing some more talking and looking before we go rushing out and put in a 20-year buffet line at $500,000. But with this idea in mind, talk to your food committee representative, talk to your resident council representative. I'm going to challenge those two groups to do some resident surveys, and let's try to get some input from you guys as to what you want, and then we'll maybe try to do a survey with our Carriage Club to get some idea what they want. And the problem with these surveys like this I'm talking about is once again, you got to define what is a buffet line. And that's where we get into the dubious at best things, because everybody's got their own concept in their mind of what a buffet line means. So they may not understand what they're voting on, if you will, when they say, well, I want a buffet line or I want plated meals. So we're going to really need to define what those are. But, once again, so I'm really kind of jumping the gun here on this announcement today. Since all this happened, we had our board meeting last night, and like I said, we're just uncomfortable with moving forward with this at this time. And maybe I should have waited till next month and give my staff time to research this, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. Think about it, talk to your food committee. We've got a lot of different options. For example, even on plated meals, it's kind of like, once again, it's kind of like saying a forge. There's all kinds of forges out there. What our neighbors to the west of us do, they just take the same thing they would put on a buffet line and then just plate it in the back and serve it out to you on front without having the heavy investment in the actual buffet line itself. So it's semi-plated, and it's kind of a hybrid, if you will, between plated and a buffet line. The advantage to that is it saves us a ton of money. It's also flexible. We can manipulate it around as we need to as circumstances change over the years. Because 5 years from now, maybe we don't want the built-in buffet line we've got. And the problem with that is we're stuck with it because it's a built-in and you can't do anything else with it. And we paid a lot of money for the thing. So I'd really like your input. I really need some direction here to go, because I'm not comfortable. I'm not seeing the vision here. I don't know what to do, and I need your help to try to understand what is the right thing to do. So please talk to your food committee and your resident council and those groups. If you're on those groups, we'll be talking more about this over the next few months. So, is there any question? I'm going to pause. And is there any questions on what I've just said about the buffet line and no booths? So, yes, ma'am, Nancy. And the comment is do a community-wide vote, but also explain what we're voting on. And that's ultimately the direction I think this will actually go. Like I said, I'm kind of jumping ahead because this is recently a new development, and most of my staff have not even heard this before. So I'm throwing something out in public that they haven't even had a chance to give me feedback or input on. But I think that is what we'll actually do, is try to have some sort of definitions as to what this means, and then put that out and just let people give us their feedback and vote on it. So Dennis, you have a... Yeah, and Dennis's comment is focus groups, with smaller focus groups that's held over a series of weeks, and that may be another way to approach this too. Once again, I'm really being ahead of. I've got my cart in front of my horse by throwing this out publicly, but I thought let's just get it out there because I know there's been a lot of scuttlebutt about the buffet line and the booths and things, and I wanted to quell the booth rumor, but just also get the ball rolling on the other. Yes, ma'am. Yes, plated meals, the question was, is define plated meals, is that à la carte? And yes, the plated meals is à la carte. Now, if we did the buffet line, you would still have a small menu you could order off of. That'd be the à la carte menu. In a way, we would still have plated meals even with a buffet line. If we have a buffet line, then you would have some plated meals. If we have plated meals, you won't have a buffet line. It doesn't go the other way. But anyway, yes, there would still be, even with a buffet line, there would still be some option to order something else off the menu, some opportunity to order something else off the menu. So, Pat. That's a very good question. The question was, is how much would it raise resident fees to do the buffet line? Versus and I'm gonna say the buffet line versus plated meals. The well, the simple answer is it wouldn't raise fees any by itself, but that's not the 100% picture on it all. The money would be paid out of the general cash reserves of Butterfield that Butterfield's accumulated over the years. So we got 25 million in the bank, so they just come out of that money. That's not directly tied to the monthly fee. What is tied to the monthly fee is the operating cost and maintenance cost to keep this thing running each year. So, for example, what's the difference between staffing for a buffet line versus plated meals? Buffet line, a little less staffing, plated meals, a little more staffing. So, what's the extra cost difference, and how does that look when you look out over a 20-year period? How does those compare to each other? And those are things that we do have to take into account that could potentially impact the monthly fees. Yes, sir. Yeah. The comment was, is the health department and any regulatory approvals. Yes, and that's correct. There would be some of those that we would have to have. So that would be, of course, part of the planning and implementation process. I'm going to switch gears at this point and talk about the budget. And talking about monthly fees, let's talk about monthly fees. There's a lot I've heard rumors about a 6% fee increase next year. We're not planning on it. Unfortunately, it will have to be a little more than we normally would like to see. I really don't think we're talking about a 6%. At least I hope we're not. Kim, our chief financial officer, is working the numbers, and she does a good job and will do certainly the best she can. But at the end of the day, we have to fund Butterfield, and we have to meet our financial obligations. I don't envision a 6. Quite honestly, I keep a running tally in my head. Where are we headed? What's going on? What does it cost? Is there anything we can cut from our budget to help pay for these increases that we need to incur? And the number I'm stuck on, quite honestly, is 5%. And 5% is higher than we normally do. We've not. Last year was the highest we've ever done since I've been here is 4. I'm kind of stuck on 5% this year. I hope it's not more than that. Honestly, I don't think we'll probably even do more than that, even if we need it. I think probably about 5 is the max we could really just ask for. Hopefully it'll be lower than that. Maybe my little running tally in my mind's a scary place and it scares me sometimes. But my running tally in my mind is 5%. So and that's not a commitment to that. Like I said, hopefully it'll be lower. But I would be much more surprised if it's lower. Or much lower than that. So, and let me tell you why. The salaries as I said earlier with Carmen, the quality of the service that you get is directly related to the quality of the staff we hire, and that's directly related to the employment environment, the benefits we provide, and the salary we pay. Our salaries are simply getting behind the market, and there's no way to sugarcoat that any. We're just going to have to just step up and bite the bullet and recognize that, if we want to hire good quality staff to provide good quality service, we're going to have to pay for it. The Kiplinger letter I like to read every week. It gives you just national averages. Now these are national averages, so Butterfield or Fayetteville may be worse or better or worse than the national averages, but raises general wage increases in 2022 is 5%. Our general cost of living raise is 3%. Projected next year, the average wage increase will be 4% for 23. Once again, ours is 3%. So you can easily see how the market is growing faster than we are. Specifically here in Fayetteville, some work we've done and some preliminary numbers is RNs are $30, $31, $32 an hour. We start at 27. CNAs 14 to 16 with 15 to 16 being the most prominent. We're at 13.50. It's a lot of money to bring our salaries up to market. And when I say a lot of money, I'm talking, ironically enough, about $500,000. So that's got to be the focus of our budgetary process that Kim and her staff is working through, and we're going to dedicate our money to that area. We have made some cuts in our staffing in a place or two where we thought we could, and we've turned around and used that money then to pay for increases that we've already done this year. Even with these increases, we're still somewhat behind the market, and we're going to have to. This is getting critical at this point. But let me just read you some numbers here from. We're hoping, inflation's been 9% throughout this summer. We're hoping we've peaked. We think, cross your fingers, that inflation is going to start trending downward. The projection is by December it'll be 8%, which is not much relief, but hey, 8's better than 9. Now, keep in mind what we're talking about here as inflation goes down. We're not talking about necessarily pricing going down. We're talking about it's not increasing as fast as it was. So instead of going up at the astronomical rates that they have been, prices will start going up only a little bit instead of a lot. The forecast also is by next summer, June, July next summer, inflation will be 3-4%. Well, that'd be a really welcome relief. But we have seen substantial cost increases this year, and I'm going to give you just a couple examples. And I think I've mentioned these last month, but our building insurance, our content insurance, and our liability insurance that we have to pay for Butterfield went up this year $150,000. This year increase was $150,000. The projection is expect a 10% increase again next year. $150,000 is a 1% monthly fee increase. I mean, it's just that simple math. But utilities of our usage. Kim is once again, and her staff is looking at our usage. We don't believe off the top of our heads. We think the usage has gone up. It's just simply the utility price we have to pay. The rate has gone up substantially. Our electric bill this summer is twice as what it was, last year. So, and quite honestly, what we had in the budget. Now, we also had an unusually hot summer. So between our unusually hot summer and the rate increases, we have just seen substantial increase in our utility bills. Now the question will be is what will it be next year? Well, of course, the answer is we don't have a clue. If we have another really hot summer next year again, then it'll be like it was this year. If we have a milder winter and the rates go back down, then it might be a lot less. So, what do we budget for this? And then that budget in turn then drives what we need to ask for monthly fee increases. So this, like I said, this is a complicated, tricky thing that we work through as best we can. But I did want you to understand and see what we're doing and how this works, and why I'm saying that I'm kind of stuck on a 5% at this point. Let me give you some other numbers. I just seen Memo walk in. These numbers won't surprise him any. These are price increases from last July to this July. So in the last 12 months from back in July. Now, and once again, these are national averages. So flour up 23%, and I'm also going to round it up. It's 22.7, but I'm just going to round it up to the nearest whole, or up or down to the nearest whole percent. Flour 23%, bread 14%, milk 16%, butter 22%, eggs 38%, chicken 18%. I bought a little old deal of chicken wings at the store the other day, and it's $10 for just a little deal of chicken wings. I couldn't believe it. I like to swallow my teeth. I'm just, fruits and vegetables. Now here's the shining star: is fruits and vegetables. They're only up 9%. I'm like, wow. When did 9% increase become the shining star? When did $3.50 become cheap gas? But here we are. So anyway, these are the reasons why our costs at Butterfield are going up a lot. We have managed our budget, I think, extremely well. We have cut a few positions out where we could. We have attempted to hold the line on our cost, and we're going to attempt to hold the line on our cost next year. How do you do a budget cut? Well, you hold the budget the same, and with inflation at 9%, each department's getting a budget cut. Even though you've budgeted the same amount of money, they can't purchase as much with that same amount of money next year as they could this year. Well, that's a budget cut. So we're doing this where we can, but once again, I want you to know that we're probably to fund the things we need to at Butterfield. We're looking at a sizable increase this year. And as sizable to me is once again is 4 to 5% range. So, questions on any of that? No, Nancy, you went first. So. The question is how much increases there is in electricity. I don't know the total numbers. For July, we had budgeted, and I'm shooting the numbers off the top of my head here. We had budgeted $42,000-ish, and the bill was like $75,000. Last year's actual July bill was a lot less, so I don't know that number off the top of my head. But these are the type of increases we're seeing. It's just, for practical purposes, just dang near double. And we're seeing that, now, of course, natural gas, being this time of year, we're not using much of that. So the bill, I think this month was only $4,300 or something like that. But anyway, we're seeing substantial increases in our utilities, food, insurance, and then wages is the fourth area. So. Well, the comment is the electric, our utility usage, and being mindful of our usage and turning off the lights. And that's a very good point that I do want to bring up, and thanks for jogging my memory on that. And I want to soft sell this a little bit, but just energy management is pretty simple. Most of us know what we need to do already. There's no big secret here. Turn off the light when you don't need it on. Don't leave the water running while you're brushing your teeth. It's just these little simple things that most of us was taught as a kid to do, and if we just do them, it's not going to say, instead of a 5% increase, we'll need a 2% increase. It's not going to do that, but it will save us money. Now, here's the reason I say we need to soft sell this a little bit. I don't want you sitting in your apartment in the dark thinking, gosh, I've got to turn out my lights and sit here in the dark, so my monthly fee increase isn't that much. Live comfortably. But just turn off the light when you're done. If you normally have your thermostat set on 75, setting it on 74 will help, and you can probably stay the same, as comfortable as you would at 75. I'm just making these numbers up, of course, but just things like this will save us money. But I don't want you sitting there with your jacket on in the middle of the wintertime, cold because you don't want to turn your thermostat up. So just be mindful of what you're doing, but also live a normal, comfortable life. So you had a question here. Well, the comment was that she's sitting in a performance hall freezing, and the answer to that is I don't know, because it does run. It is running pretty good. So it's, yeah. Yeah. the comment is there's not a lot of people here today that we were expecting, and then it costs more money to, if you keep raising it up and down, it is more expensive than just leaving it at one temperature. So, but, yeah. Dan, you have a question? Yeah. And of course, the comment was electric bill a number of years ago was 37,000, but of course it goes up and down with the temperature, and also the two big factors on your electric is your rates and your well, on all your bills, your rates and your usage. Of course, in summertime you're going to use a lot more electric than in the wintertime, but this summer we're going to use a whole lot more because it was so much hotter. So this summer just being an abnormal year, and of course, with some of the climate predictions, they're saying this may become the normal year instead of the abnormal year. We'll have to see about that. But anyway, Thurman, you have a comment? The question is what efforts have we made to switch over to LED? And the answer to that is where we can. And unfortunately, I don't know any more information than that. Anytime we're working and we can change, and we're doing something and we can change out to LED, we are. But I don't have any figures as far as what percentage of our campus is LED versus the old style. So, but we are putting LED in when we do any areas where we can. So. Mr. Rick? He said the hallways and healthcare and many of our refurbishes are LEDs, and that is correct. But once again, I don't know what is and how much percentage. It may be 10%, it may be 80%. I don't know. But we are LED uses less electricity. It also produces less heat. So using electricity is also a gain that we get in itself, not only just from the utility bill, but the power supply to Butterfield is somewhat restricted without spending a whole lot of money on increasing the power supply through our transformers and things. So changing LED has allowed us to add electrical usage on and still not exceed the capacity that's supplied to the building. So I'm getting in more than you probably wanted to know. So the one other thing I wanted to talk about is we've got, as I mentioned earlier, Butterfield has some cash reserves that we'd built up over the years. Interest rates had been so low that we'd purposely just held that money in cash at the bank. There's a cost to being liquid, and we did lose some interest by doing that. However, a year ago, Treasury bills was 0.75%, 1%. If we'd bought a 10-year Treasury bills a year ago at 1%, we're stuck holding that thing for 9 more years because we can't sell it because rates have gone up a lot in just the last few months, 5-6 months. Anyway, we're able to we've figured rates, or think rates have reached about as high as they're going to for anytime soon. So we were able to get some 2-year United States Treasury bills. So we've put $16 million in U.S. Treasury bills that'll mature in the summer of 2024. Of course, these are backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. They can be sold, what that's worth anymore. But anyway, they can be bought or sold at any time on the market. So if for some reason we just have an issue that we need some cash, we can always sell them. And we think we've got them at a high enough rate that there'd be very little loss on the sale. But we're also earning some pretty good interest. This interest will be about $400,000-ish more, $425,000 more than what we were making before. The advantage of this, and the reason I bring it up is this is one of the ways we're actually, once again, when did 350 become cheap gas? But this is one of the ways we're able to keep the monthly service fee, and I'm saying that it won't be any more than 5%. Without this extra earnings we're getting on this money, we'd be looking at somewhat more than a 5% because that's simply the amount of cost we've had. Fortunately, since rates did come up in quite a little bit, they went from back in January was 1.5%, and they've more than doubled. We were able to get these at about 3.25%. But anyway, this interest will help keep our monthly fee down, but it means that, how do you go from 9%? And you say, well, you said inflation was 9%, but you're only saying we won't do more than the 5%. Well, how do we do that is this interest earnings. So without this interest, we would have been facing a lot higher monthly fee increase than what I think we will as it is, even though it's still going to be a lot higher than we'd normally like. So, and once again, the reason I bring this up to you is we are doing everything we can to manage your money and keep your fee increases as low as we possibly can. And I hope you, most of you probably won't believe me, but I hope you'll believe me when I say, I don't want to raise your fees. I would love to come up here and tell you we're not going to have a fee increase next year. I would love it. I'd be walking on cloud 9, but unfortunately, I can't. I have a fiduciary responsibility to operate Butterfield and to keep Butterfield on a firm financial footing, so it's here to provide the services you need in the future. And to do that, we've got to pay when these cost increases like this happen. But the important thing, and that I really want to just bring out, is we're doing everything we can to keep this as low as possible through a variety of ways and means. So. And with that, we're out of time, and I'll shut up unless there's any more questions. Don't forget the OLLI brochures up here in front if you're interested. Any final questions? And we'll be back September, back to our regular Friday schedule. So, okay. Well, thanks, everybody.